If you struggle with feeling out of control when things change in your life, stick with me as I'm going to show you some things that will change your life forever. Let's go. Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to an episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and welcome back to my Thursday thoughts. Do you struggle with feeling out of control when things in your life change? I'm going to share with you today some little tips and tricks that's going to help you take back control, because there is nothing worse than feeling out of control when situations change and it doesn't quite go the way that you planned or expected, and then you're feeling helpless or powerless. And I'm here to tell you today that you shouldn't feel powerless in any situation. When I share with you today some way of changing your thinking, it's a real small thing, and again, potentially you've heard about it before, but no one's actually given you actionable steps. I want to give you 5 actionable steps that you can use when you do feel powerless to actually take back control, to regain your power, because that is your right. So when we do feel out of control, when things in our life do change, we tend to catastrophize whatever it is that's happened, and we tend to allow ourselves to get stuck in this negative thought spiral of what ifs. We create these stories in our head. We can hear the people talking about us. We start to feel a certain way, and before we know it, we've lost an hour, 2 hours, or even a day going down this negative thought spiral, and we just feel more and more and more out of control. And this happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and I think I've shared the story before on one of the longer episodes of the podcast, but I didn't really go into too much detail. So I was working out in the gym, and it's my sort of safe space. I absolutely love it. I don't really know anyone that's there. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I was training this particular day, feeling really good, feeling myself. Do you remember one of those days where you're feeling yourself? I felt great. And someone walked into the gym that I haven't seen for almost a year, and it's someone that I know behind the scenes talks behind my back about me, doesn't particularly like me, isn't a fan of me, even though I've helped him and his dad in the past with some stuff. So he's got no real reason or right to think this way. And as soon as I saw this guy, I was like, oh, I felt a certain way in my stomach. He didn't really clock me, and I was like, oh, okay. So I carried on my session. And then I got on the bike at the end, doing my cardio, and I could see him in my peripheral. And what happened was I ended up getting in this trance. And I was listening to a podcast, which I always do when I'm training. They're listening away. And 15 minutes later, I thought I was going to be sick. And I thought, what the hell is going on here? And what had happened was I'd got myself stuck thinking about this guy, making up situations, and ended up feeling completely out of control. I was completely out of control, because think about it. If you aren't fully in charge of what's going on inside here, you're not in control. Are you in control of your thoughts, or are your thoughts in control of you? And at this particular moment in time, my thoughts were completely in control of me. And it started to make me feel a bit sick or anxious. And I was like, whoa. My heart was absolutely pounding. Now, I was doing cardio, but I wasn't particularly going crazy. And all I'd done was just create this story. If he comes and talks to me, this one would do. How dare he come and talk to me? He hadn't done anything. He hadn't even acknowledged me. And I just created this story, getting more and more and more inside my own head. And I'm sure you've been there too. I'm sure this may happen on a regular basis for you. And I want to share with you some things that you can do, which I did on that particular day, to actually help you get back in control and regain your power so that you don't ever feel powerless again. Now, if you relate to what I'm saying, don't forget to subscribe, as every single week I'm going to give you more information and more little tips and tricks to actually take back control of your life. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. So for me, I took back control by, first of all, identifying what I'd actually been doing to myself. Because here's the key thing. When you feel out of control, no matter what's actually going on, you're doing it to yourself. Because what tends to happen is this thing changes, okay? That is life. Life changes. Because we have the illusion of control anyway. Let's just break this down. You don't actually have any control. You have the illusion of control. You can't control any person, situation, thing, event. You can control nothing. You have the illusion of control. The only thing you can control is yourself. So when this thing changes, you then feel out of control, even though you were out of control in the first place. So first thing you need to do is understand that you are doing it to yourself. You're making yourself feel more powerless. Oh no, what's going to happen now? Oh, I can't do this, and whatever it is. You start to have this narrative inside your head. So for me in this situation, I have to ask myself, do I want this person to have this power over me? Is this person bigger than me? Is this event situation bigger than me? And the answer is no, it's not. I understand the power that I have. So it's like, whoa, no. I'm not allowing this person to have this control over me? So first thing you need to do is actually identify that you're doing it yourself. You are the one that's making you feel out of control. Okay, number one, so identify again. Sometimes it's not nice to hear because, oh yeah, but this thing. Yeah, I get it. I fully get it. But all you're doing is disempowering yourself because you're giving that thing, situation, person more power when you realize that you are actually the one that's doing that. Okay, number one. Number two, ask why. Like, why have I got caught up in this thought pattern? Like, why? Like, why am I making this such a big thing? Because you need to understand why. You need to be able to unpick so that you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So I was asking myself, like, why? Why have I let this guy cause me to react this way? Because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't even spoken to me. And again, even if he had, the question would be different. Why did I allow myself to respond that way? But he hadn't done anything. I'd created this scenario in my head. So why do you allow yourself to catastrophize? Like, why is that? Why is that your natural default setting when things slightly change and you had a plan and nothing's slightly changed? Why do you allow yourself to catastrophize it? Why do you allow yourself to feel out of control? Why do you allow your thoughts to go to that place of, oh my God, this is going to happen? Why? We never like to stop and reflect and ask ourselves why. Asking yourself, why are you doing this, actually gives you that self-awareness that you need. Self-awareness is the key. You need that self-awareness. You need to be aware of yourself and you need to be aware of what you do. The more you're aware of it, the more you can actually start to change it. Number three, I asked myself, is there anything that I can do to change this situation? So in that situation that you're in, ask yourself, can I actually change anything? Because we love to complain. We love to complain and we love to moan about this thing. Oh, it's not fair. And we complain inside our own heads, or we complain to the person next to us. But can you actually change something? Is there something that you can do? If the answer is yes, go and do it. If you can actually take control, go and do it. Speak to the right person. Don't speak behind their back. Don't start gossiping. Don't start playing things. Can you change anything? Can you control something? If the answer is yes, go and do it. Now, in this situation, I couldn't. I was like, can I control anything that's going on here? And I was like, no, not externally I can't, but internally I can. So this is then leads into part four. There's nothing I could control externally, but internally, I then started to control my thoughts. Because this is the ultimate power. This is what you need to do. When you're feeling out of control, understand the one thing that you have complete control over at all times is your thoughts. Now, you may not know this because you've never ever taught this, but you have complete control over your thoughts. You can choose to not accept that negative thought. When that negative thought of catastrophe comes in, you can choose to accept it. No, thank you. I don't want that. You can then choose to think of something positive. You can then choose to put your attention elsewhere because understand your thoughts are energy. So when you're giving your energy to that situation, that person, that event that you feel helpless or powerless about, you are giving them your energy. That is your power. Take back control. Control your thoughts. So I actively started to breathe in the moment. And I started to think, right, by the way, all these questions here that you're asking yourself before, that is you controlling your thoughts. So asking yourself, why have you done that to yourself? Why have you allowed that to happen? All these things I've just gone through, like all these things, that is you actually taking control of your thoughts. So you're already doing this anyway, but I mean, now you're actively starting to plant something in there saying like, right, I'm going to think about something else. I'm going to think about the positive of this situation. So I then started to, again, think about how much of a good session I'd had. I'd had a great session. So I've gone from the negative back to the positive that I was feeling. So in a situation you're feeling out of control, ask yourself, right, what positive thing can I think about? What good things have happened today? And here's another one, I wrote this down. What positives could come out of this situation? What positives could come out of the situation? Because there's always a positive in everything. And normally we struggle to find it. But actually, if you allow yourself to think, well, what are the positives here? You're then controlling your thoughts and you're then turning that potential negative into a positive. And how powerful is that? When something negative comes into your life and you can go through this system and be like, wow, what's something positive that could come out of this? Because it's ultimately a choice. And then finally, I text my friend to take my mind off it. Again, control my thoughts, take my mind off it. I text my friend, reached out. Told her a little bit about what was happening, but I didn't allow myself to become emotionally involved in that. And then when I'd finished, I left. Now, sometimes I hang around the gym when I finish, but I didn't. Because I didn't allow myself to stay in that situation. How many times have you been caught up in a situation like that and you've wanted to stay? Oh, but what if he talks to me? I'm just going to hang around in case he talks to me. It's almost like you're then creating the situation which you have in your head. You're trying to like will it into existence. And then it does happen, then you get frustrated. So as soon as I finished the cardio, that was it, I was done. Left the gym, took him back, off I went. I've not seen him since. But I was like, I'm not going to stay in this situation. What can I control? I want to finish. What can I control? Well, I can control leaving. So I then left. So that's the interesting thing for yourself, just to be aware of that. Like, what then can you control? What action can you take to put you more back in control? You know, you may not be able to leave this thing, but you can still always control your thoughts. I've done long podcasts on controlling your thoughts. So again, I'll link them in the thing above. But understand, at any point, whenever you're feeling out of control, there's 3 things you can always control: your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That is your attitude. Your actions is your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And no one can take them away from you. No one. Not a single person, situation, or event. You can control your thoughts, you can control your feelings, and you can control your actions. But your thoughts are the umbrella that control the other 2. Control your thoughts. That's how you take back control, because as I mentioned at the start, control is an illusion. You do not have control of people, situations, outcomes, or things. You can only control how you show up and influence yourself in that outcome. How you impact the outcomes. All you can control. You can't actually control the outcome. So if you're a football player, you can't control the outcome of the game. All you can do is show up and be the best version of you and influence it as much as you possibly can. That's all you can do in life. See life as a game. You can only control this player. You can't control anyone else. It's all an illusion. Even the best plan you've got, again, allow yourself to be flexible with it. Don't allow yourself to go down that negative spiral. Just reflect. Why have I allowed myself to go down this negative spiral? First, we've got to identify it, then ask why. Why have you allowed yourself to go down a negative spiral? And then take back control. The only thing you need to do is control this. Control your thoughts. The reason why you're not very good at controlling your thoughts is because you haven't practiced it yet. The more you practice taking control of your thoughts and actually choosing to focus on the positives rather than the negatives, it sounds really, really easy. It's not. It's simple. It's not easy. Take control of your thoughts, choose the positives. I promise you it will absolutely change your life. I absolutely love you guys. See you next week.